Hey, you guys. Zach Knight contacted me on Twitter and told me they've been getting a lot of mail from my fans who think that Bubba, the Black Jesuit, died in in, in that prison. That was Bubba, the Black Inmate, who is different from Bubba, the Black Jesuit. Okay, Bubba, the Black Jesuit is fine, though he lost his friend, the Ginger Kid, when Sarah Avery ate him, but he's never recovered from that. He's sad, but he's alive. Okay, so other than his feeling sad about losing his boyfriend, the ginger kid, he's fine. It was Bubba, the black inmate, who died. And Zach told me that every prison has a Bubba, the black inmate. Apparently, they're good for the prison population. So I wanted to report on something else that has been happening in my life. Starting yesterday, the Brent Spiner Jew clone has been trying to make love to me. He is not at all like Brent, and I can tell. So I have told my men, I said, go away. You are gross. You're so dorky. You're nothing like the real Brent Spiner. I know my Brent. I mean, I've been intimate with Brent since 1991. I know. We have an emotional bond. I know Brent. That clone could never be the real Brent Spiner. You see, you ought to go look up the Wikipedia picture on Brent Spiner and notice that he doesn't look. This is the Brent I fell in love with. The Brent who made Old Yellow Eyes back. Wow, look at that face. You know, when Brent was courting me when I was a married woman in 1991, he couldn't have won me if I thought he was some immoral Hollywood star. Actually, the fact that he was a Hollywood star made it more likely that I wouldn't want him. Because in my 20s, I was trained to believe that all Hollywood actors belong to the Hollywood cesspool. I went to a really strict church and they taught that Hollywood morals were disgusting and that's why all their marriages broke up. So the last place that I would look for a lover would be Hollywood. I was not enamored by the lights and the glamour and all that stuff. In fact, that stuff was a real turnoff to me. What I wanted was a real man, steel and velvet. I wanted somebody like Jesus Christ in my life. And Brent Spiner, you said, well, he won you because he said on the phone, I want to rape you. No, it wasn't what he said, it was how he said it. And he never could have won me if my Christian friend did not send me this music album. When I played the music for the first time and I heard him sing, time after time, I tell myself that I'm so lucky to be loving you. So lucky to be the one you run to see in the evening when the day is through. I thought, that's the same voice that's calling me on my phone who said I want to rape you. I thought, oh my God, he said that because he dreams about making love to me 24/7 and he thinks I'm the most gorgeous woman in the world. He would say things like, oh, you're so gorgeous. I want, he would say, I want to kiss your nipples. And that's why I hung up on it. Then I thought that voice, the tone of the voice, it's the same person. Then I listened to this song. The very thought of you, and I forget to do the little ordinary things that everyone ought to do. I'm living in a kind of daydream. I'm happy as a king. I thought he's in love with me. Then this song. Let me see. Embrace me, my sweet embraceable you. Embrace me, you irreplaceable you. Just one look at you, my heart grew tipsy in me. And you know the tone of his voice when he spoke to me on the phone? He sounded like a lovesick schoolboy. I thought, this guy adores me. You say, what did you do? I just, when I wrote him letters, I was just very open. He was the only man in my life that I'd ever been totally transparent with. I mean, I just bared my soul to him. I confessed my sins. I said, I told him I'm really lucky to have my husband because he puts up with all of my faults, and I have a lot of faults. And I said, um, I presume that if I'm unhappy in my marriage, it's probably my own fault. And I just, that's what I said to him. But his emotional IQ was so high. I think that he sensed that I was married to an emotionally abusive husband. And I shared with him my dreams about how I wish the whole world was filled with great people with vastness in their hearts. And that even though I go to church all the time, that I feel like today's church is missing something, like they need to have a little bit more tolerance and love, and that I wasn't sure that some of the rigidity that I was being taught at my church was correct. I was actually questioning a lot of stuff, and I was sharing my doubts with him. And he just seemed like a very intelligent person, like somebody I could open up to. So, but I didn't think he would fall in love with me. But I told him the reason I'm writing you is because you seem to be a thoughtful man who cares about the welfare of the human race, and you seem to have a humanitarian heart. And I sense such greatness and manliness in you. And it just makes me I just feel honored that you would read my thoughts and that I can share my thoughts with you. And I told him I told him I'm happily married and I have a child, and I'm not trying to, do anything romantic. I just like having a pen friend that I can open up to and be totally myself with. And I said, I dream of a world where the world's at peace and there's love and tolerance. And I said, that's what I like about Star Trek. And even though I've been taught by my church that it's like a demonic show, this is the stuff I was saying to him in my letters. And apparently, he finally wrote me a letter. I think the Jesuits were sabotaging his response. He originally sent me an autographed photo, which I never received. He finally wrote me a letter that said, Dear Mrs. Schuler, thank you for sharing your thoughts with me. They were greatly appreciated. Thank you for, I think he said, for your thoughts about your kind words about my portrayal of Data. I read them with interest, and I hope that you continue to watch and enjoy the show. Sincerely, Brent Spiner, and he signed his name. And he mailed it with no return address with an Atlanta postmark. And I thought, wow, he went out of his way to make sure I got this letter. I was so impressed. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and even though I think I sing terrible, and I had a piano, I said, I'm going to go ahead and sing hymns to him. So I just, to thank him for having, I said, I so appreciate you writing to me. And I know I sing terrible and my piano playing's terrible, but I just want to sing you some songs, some hymns like, when peace like a river attendeth my... I sang hymns, Christian hymns, but I sang from my heart. Day by day, and with each passing moment, strength I find to meet my trials here. And I could play piano a little bit. So I sent that to him on a cassette tape. And I figured, he'd just think it was cute and that would be it. Well, when he heard my tape, he fell in love with me. And that's when it was 1 month after he got my tape that he made this. And I wasn't planning on getting it. I didn't connect the two things. I just figured he decided to make a music album. But when I heard the music, I knew he made it for me. Kiss me once, kiss me twice, kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Haven't felt like this, my dear, since can't remember when. It's been a long, long time. You'll never know how many dreams I've dreamed about you, or just how empty they all seemed without you. So kiss me once, kiss me twice. And I thought, oh my God, he made that for me. So it was May 1991, and it was June when I got this, June 91, when my friend sent this to me. And I thought, the music, You made that for me, didn't you? And the phone would just ring off the hook. I would send the letters to his Paramount fan mail address, and the phone would just ring off the hook. He says, you made that for me. I would send him a letter. Kiss me once. And I said, the other song in there is like, and I always will love you, Marie. How did that song go? You look like a princess with your hair up high. I did send him a couple photos of me fully dressed in church clothes, but I was wearing my winter colors and stuff, and I said, here's a picture of me with my family at a dinner with my stepdad and my relatives, and there's a picture of me with my husband and my son. Well, I was wearing church dresses, and I think I looked really innocent, and I was a devout Christian, and he fell in love with me. He fell in love with my womanly qualities, my warmth, and here's another one that might explain. Embrace me, you irreplaceable you. Embrace me. I thought the way he sings, that's just how he sounds on the phone. I thought this guy's crazy about me. I said, Jesus, I have a husband who kisses me like the wall, and this guy, it's like when he called me on the phone, it was like he was thinking about me all day, and it was like he was saying, oh, I actually remember him saying, oh, you're so gorgeous. Why can't I come over? I said, no, Brent, it wouldn't be right. And he said, oh. And then he would just hang up real softly and quietly, and I'd go, oh, Jesus, this is terrible. I said, oh, God, I want to make love to this guy so bad, but I can't. It would be immoral. I would be adultery. I can't. I said, Jesus, why'd you let me marry somebody who kisses me like the wall when this guy dreams about making love to me all day? And now this Brent Spiner clone is talking to me brain to brain, and he's nothing like Brent. I bet he can't even sing like this. How much I dare you, Brent Spiner clone, to make an album like this. He can't do it. He doesn't have the soul to do it. Like, when I fall in love, it will be forever, or I'll never fall in love. And the moment that I feel that you feel that way too is when I fall in love with you. And the way he sang in this album is it's the same voice tone that he used when he talked to me on the phone. The same tenor voice, that smooth velvet voice. And the Brent Spiner clone thinks he can imitate the real Brent Spiner. He doesn't have his soul. He doesn't have his greatness. He doesn't have his authenticity. He's a fraud. Brent clone, I'm going to tell you something. I know you don't love me. In fact, I don't think you love anybody. I think you're very insecure. I think he's the Antichrist right now. I sent some lightning bolts on him, and he was screaming at me, oh, bitch, quit doing this. It's like he reminded me of what Zach Knight used to be like. So folks, I think we got a new Antichrist now. I told my men, I want you to treat both Laurie McBride and the Brent Spiner Jew clone as Antichrist, because I think maybe both of them are playing the role, or they're switching between them. Because my lightning bolts only work on the Antichrist, and so I think that the Brent Spiner clone is now the Antichrist. And he might have been behind Zach's imprisonment, and he might be behind Hurricane Harvey. There's a comedy movie out there called Harvey, I think, and that clone is trying to be a comedian, though he's not funny, he's a dork. He doesn't have the real Brent's breadth, humility, transparency, and courage. He's a fake, a fraud, and an imposter. And what's even bad is he's trying to force the world to believe his lie by killing people who shatter the delusion that he's trying to force everybody to believe. And he just doesn't have Brent Spiner's soul. Brent Spiner has a heart as big as Jesus Christ. And that's why I fell in love with him.